So let's take spring mass damper system, simplest one. K, R, M, some Ft applied. That is the velocity sensor. We have derived its transfer function beforehand. Mx double dot plus Rx dot plus Kx is equal to Ft. We take Laplace transform of both sides and we find Gs is equal to, our output is Ys, which is same as let's say Xs divided by, we'll convert it to velocity, okay, G bar by, this is Fus, which is same as Fs. That turns out to be 1 by ms square plus rs plus k. This is from force to displacement. This transfer function is from force to displacement. For transfer function from Gs, we will find Laplace transform of x dot t by us, that is Fs. So for x dot t, we will multiply with s. So we will get s by ms square plus rs plus k. This is from force to velocity. So this is our transfer function. This is the one, this is intermediate one, other one is intermediate one. So we found transfer function from force to displacement from the equations. Then we took output, changed the output to x dot t, and then multiplied with s, we get from force to velocity transfer function. So that so far we know. Let us now take two different systems or a closed loop system. I modify this to this mk, no r, mk. I sense velocity. There is some reference velocity. Whatever you sense, that will be reference velocity. Some gain, say alpha, apply a force, whatever direction, force. So this is my modified system. What is open loop transfer function? First I will draw open loop system. This is closed loop system. So open loop system becomes, we have mass. For open loop, we will remove all controller part. We have spring, we have velocity sensor, we have force, Ft. So what is difference between open loop and closed loop? All this difference signal plus minus this gain Gain is my controller. This is controller. All these are removed. Only the input, that is the applied force, and the output, that is the sensed velocity, these two are kept. That is my open loop system. Of course, we choose x here. So for this, we can derive the transfer function. That's no problem. What is the transfer function? We will substitute r is equal to 0. So gs is equal to s by ms square plus k by putting r is equal to 0, or we can write mx double dot plus kx is equal to ft. So ms square xs plus kxs is equal to fs. So you get gs is equal to s times sx, that is ys. Yt is equal to x dot t. So ys is equal to sxs. Sxs divided by, so xs goes, okay, sxs divided by fs. So that will give me s by ms square plus k. So this is what is open loop transfer function. All right. So now I will convert this, what we have, difference velocity, let's say call it v rep. V rep, that is plus, here is minus, here is gain alpha, here we have open loop transfer function s by ms square plus k. This is s xs is equal to y s. So this is my closed loop system, open loop system. Is that understood? Students, is that understood? This part clearly?
Yes,
okay.
sir.
So you remove all kinds of control circuit, all kind of reference from the main system. Keep what is the input, what is the output, derive its transfer function, then plug in that transfer function into the control loop, and you get closed loop transfer function. So once we get this closed loop transfer function, then we get it. Then this becomes vref, and this whole thing g closed loop s straight ys. How much is g closed loop s? Is gs by 1 plus, gain here is alpha gs. So that becomes s by ms square plus k by 1 plus alpha s by ms square plus k. So ms square plus k will,
Sir, your controller is in the forward path, no sir?
where? It's in the backward path. Here. Where is it in forward path? After reference? Yes. We have in forward path. So we will put it there. So we have taken vref, yes. Tax. Yes. So we have taken this, okay. Then after this we have alpha. alpha. Okay. So we multiply here alpha by this. Okay, GSHS here alpha. So what we get? Okay, we get alpha S divided by this part. We get here straightforward MS square plus K, MS square plus K plus alpha S. So plus alpha S plus K. This is what we get. All right. So now these are come. Okay, some this thing. Now if we take transfer function from the input Vref, from Vref we have taken from Vref to Ys. If you take this not from Vref but from Fs, this alpha will disappear. From here, if you take from error, this is error. So if we take it from error, then this alpha will disappear. Nevertheless, it doesn't matter. So let's compare this. This is, let's say, 2. And this one is 1. With damper. So what do we get? 1 and 2. 1 and 2 have same dynamics. With the extra gain in 2. In the numerator, we have extra gain in 2, otherwise they have same dynamics. That means alpha is equivalent to resistance, or feedback is effectively.
Sir, do we say same dynamics when they have the same zeros and same poles? Or
Yes, same zeros and same poles. Same zeros and same poles. Only scaled. It's scaled by that alpha. So we have, okay, alpha is equivalent to R, or feedback is effectively a resistance. It is obvious what we have done. We have taken velocity and applied a force. Let's say reference velocity is 0. Let's say reference velocity is 0. Then what will happen? If reference velocity is 0, we will provide a force which is equal to alpha times velocity. That is what a resistance does. Resistance provides a force proportional to velocity. So this kind of a feedback is effectively generating a resistance. All right? And we can in fact use it in various kind of systems where we generate so-called structural resistance, or something called a driving point impedance. You see here what has happened. Sensor and actuator are at same place. We are measuring velocity of M is measured and F is applied. When you have such a situation, this is called driving point impedance control. Driving point means wherever you are measuring, at that same point you are applying some kind of force. This is very essential, and those of you who will be working on some kind of solid mechanics problems like smart structures, you might use this. Let's say you have a beam. There is a cantilever beam. On this, you have a these things. Two piezo patches. Two piezo patches. So two piezo strips are there. Now these piezos are such. This piezo if you applied voltage strain is generated. And vice versa. That means if you strain it, it will generate a voltage. If you put a voltage, it will strain it. All right. So one of them we can connect to a cell. This is actuator. And other one we can connect to a voltmeter, that is sensor. So two sides there are piezo patches. One of them acts as a sensor, other one as a actuator. So you measure this voltage and put it in a feedback loop to actuate it. By using that, you can generate, if you actually couple sensor to actuator by a controller to minimize vibration, let's say. So when you measure something, you apply a proportional actuation force. Then you can minimize the vibration. That is called smart structural damping or active structural damping. So that's one kind of control. It's also used in aircraft wings and so on. Whenever it bends, there are smart composite materials with piezo patches. Those piezo patches will sense how much is the deflection, and some piezo patches will generate a strain or bending moment to straighten it. All right, so that is also possible. The concept is same as we have done for that single degree of freedom system. So have you understood what is open loop system, what is closed loop system? Whenever you are given a problem, you have to always find out the transfer function of the open loop system. Closed loop system will come automatically. We will just complete the loop and find out the closed loop system transfer function. And sometimes we need not even find out the closed loop system transfer function. From the open loop system transfer function, we can analyze that and tell what will happen to the closed loop system. So whatever feedback circuits and other things are there, remove them. Keep the bare minimum system components with input and output, and we will generate the open loop system transfer function. So let me proceed to generate these transfer functions. How to generate these transfer functions is a big thing. For that, we will introduce something called a signal flow graph. In short, I am writing SFG. Bond graph I have written BG, block diagram BD, signal flow graph SFG. But transformer will not be, transfer function will not be TF. So if you write transfer function as TF, it will be wrong. TF is transformer. So what is this signal flow graph? It is similar to block diagram. Very similar to block diagram. Suppose you have a block like this. Let's say integration K. This is BD. In SFG, it will be shown as integration means 1 by S in Laplace domain. So we will have K by S. That's it. Similarly, if you are mass 1 by M integral, this sequence doesn't matter. That will be shown as 1 by ms. Any gain, let's say simply R. So here we are introducing a block. Here that gain R will be written in side of this thing. So gains are written by the sides of the edges. We will call them edges of the graph. Now there will be nodes of the graph. Let's say we have something, let's say plus, minus, minus, output. This is our block diagram, let's say. Okay. So if this is block diagram, I am putting something, some variable, let's say. This is, let's say, F1, F2, F3, it could be F4. F4. This is some flow algebra is done at zero junction, some zero junction. From some zero junction, we have got this. Now here, in this, we will put it as a node. This is a node. To this node, we will connect F2. All right. Okay. F2 will be connected, signal. Then we will connect F3. F3 is some node. Here we will put gain -1. Here we will put gain 1. That's not necessary. And here, this is F1, gain will be -1. So no some block and plus minus signs, those would be taken care by gains of the branches or edges. All right, that is the difference. Otherwise, it's all the same. So any integration will simply replace it by 1 by s. All gains will multiply. If you have a sum block, that sum block we will put as a dot, as a node. We won't put plus minus sign at the node. We will put that as gain in the corresponding branch. It might appear as +1, -1 or whatever. That is what is a signal flow graph. So I will show you one signal flow graph. Let's say some signal flow graph we have. Let's say for that same spring mass damper system we do it. AR. Let me draw its bond graph also so that we directly do it from bond graph without going through block diagram. So give some number 1, 2, 3, 4. We'll give some causality. So same steps as we do in block diagram. That's it. Now, for signal program, what will we do? We will introduce effort and flow nodes. That is number one. To introduce element gains. Number three, include junction weak loss. That's it. So I will do that. I will introduce effort and flow nodes. We have total 4 bonds. That means we have here 8 variables, 4 effort variables, 4 flow variables. All right? Whatever sensor we want, we will put it afterwards. This is my sensor, let's say. Some sensor. Let's say velocity. So what I will do? I will introduce a node. It's a small dot. I will write there E1. I will introduce another node. I will call there E2. There is another node E3. There is another node E4. So 4 efforts are there. Likewise, 4 flows are there. But this is a one junction. Flows are same. So instead of writing 4 flows, I will just write one flow. I will write here one flow. I will write 1, 2, 3, 4. That means flows in bonds 1, 2, 3, 4 are same. All right? So we introduced 4 effort nodes, and instead of 4 flow nodes because they are equal, so I just put one flow node. After that, we will introduce all element gains. So what are element gains? In block diagram, this integral causality I element we model by taking one gain 1 by m and then a integration. That's it. So for a mass like this, I is to m, you have here effort going and flow returned. We have F is equal to Ft. Let's write T. F is equal to 1 by m integral Et dt. If you take Laplace transform, Fs is equal to 1 by m, again 1 by s because of integration Es. So Fs is 1 by ms Es. So that's the rule. So what we will do? From E2 to F2, E2 to F2. So this is E2 to F2. The gain will be 1 by ms. So that's what I will model. You just have to remember that whenever you get a integral causal I element, its gain is 1 by ms from effort to flow. So E2 to F2, put a arrow, write the gain 1 by ms. So that is one element relation. You need not write all these steps at the bottom. Whenever you have any kind of mass with integral causality, it is 1 by ms from E to F. Likewise, C element in integral causality. What do we know? This gets effort goes this way and flow is going this way. Okay. So flow goes to C element, it returns effort to the system. So what we know? Et is equal to k times integral ft dt. Take Laplace transform of both sides. Es is equal to k by s times fs. So this is gain from fs to es. The direction is like this. You cannot reverse it. You cannot say that I will say es to fs, it is s by k or minus k by s. No, as per causality. So this gain will be k by s. So here it is f what? F3 to E3. So all these are basically S. We are not writing E1S, E2S like that. I have just written E1, E2. It's understood that these are in Laplace domain. So from F3 to E3, it is K by S. Likewise for the resistance, it is in this causality, R is to R. So for this we understand that we are system is getting effort, this is giving flow, Et is equal to R times Ft. There is no integration. So Es is equal to R times Fs. Straightforward, Es is R times Fs. So that is in bond number 4. There is R. So in this particular causality, we are getting a connection from flow to effort R. If the causality was reversed, then we will get a connection from E to F, starting from E, ending at F with a gain 1 by R. So that distinction should be made. Depending on causality, it might be from F to E with gain R, or it might be E to F with gain 1 by R. These are not interchangeable. This will come as per the causality. So we have written all element gains. Now we will write down the junction weak law. Junction strong law we are not writing because it's already there. When we have put single node for F1, 2, 3, 4, that is junction strong law. So what is weak law for this junction? For this junction, what is strong bond? E2. So weak law E2, everything is in S domain. E2 is E1 minus E3 minus E4. So we will write E2. This is E2. Look at this. E1 is directly connected. I don't write here plus 1. Minus E3. I don't draw it like this. I will draw like this. And where will be the minus? Minus will be here. E1 minus E2 minus E4. E4 also I will bring here. Minus 1. And then at the end, I have an output and I have one input. What is input? This E1. This is my US. What is output? Flow. This is my YS. Input and output. All right. So is this one clear? This picture?
Yes, sir.
Okay,
Yes, sir.
similar to block diagram. It is similar to block diagram. If you look at it, connection from F1 to E2. Connection from F1 to E2 is there is a gain K, then followed by an integrator, then a sum block with a minus sign. That is what it means. So whatever transfer function I will derive using this approach, you can in fact derive the same thing from the block diagram model. So now I will simplify this. Simplify this to a simpler form. These temporary things I will remove. So I will put F1, 2, 3. F1 to 4 YS. There is E2. Of course, S. This is 2. This is US. Now from this to this, we have 1 by MS. And from this to this, look at this. What we have here, this E3 I can remove. It's a intermediate thing. We have final connection from up to E2. So the gain will become minus K by S. Likewise, there is a parallel branch going through E4 to E2 whose gain is minus R. I can merge them. I can merge them and put here as minus K by S plus R. So I can merge and write it like this, minus K by S plus R as a single thing, or minus K plus RS by S. This is what also I can do. So this is my reduced thing. I have input, I have output. So if I have this, I of course get the transfer function directly from this. So what I have, US to something to, then one, I have 1 by MS. This is F1 to 4. This is YS minus K plus RS by S. This is equivalent to the block diagram with negative feedback. So what is this? This is again equivalent to US straight going to YS. I will draw bigger line. US straight going to YS. Here my transfer function is with this kind of a feedback in the backward path with a negative sign. That means equivalent to adding a sum block here with minus sign. So 1 by MS divided by 1 plus 1 by MS into K plus RS by S. So how much this comes? So 1 by MS square. So S will come above MS square plus RS plus K. Is that the one we require? That's the transfer function. Transfer function from what to what? This is GS. From force to our sensor is velocity. YS is up to velocity. So we directly get our transfer function from the signal flow graph. Is this clear?
Sir, like, could you repeat the last step by conversion into block diagram part?
Means this last one.
Yes, sir.
US YS.
Yeah.
This one. This, do you mean this one? The one I have drawn line? Two
Yes,
lines?
sir. Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
So this is equivalent to US plus minus that minus 1. Minus I have taken out. 1 by MS. And here that HS is our K plus RS by S. This is plus, this is minus. Is that same?
Yes,
Both are
sir.
same?
Yes. So that
Okay.
minus sign we are that E2 node we are taking as some comparator.
E2 node actually block diagram that comparator. We take out that minus sign and put it in gain. All right.
Okay.
So
Okay.
it might be comparator, it might be plus plus. Okay, it could be anything. Okay, if it is plus plus, then we will ultimately have 1 plus. Instead of 1 plus, we will have 1 minus.
Okay.
So you can in fact get it from this block diagram. So if you look at it, this is a causal feedback. This is a causal feedback because this K plus RS by S in fact represents a spring and a damper. So it's a physical component. So this is how a transfer function is derived. For complex systems, we will have to do something different. We cannot derive it so easily. So I will just in brief give you a formal definition for transfer function of larger systems. Let's say we have a system x dot t, of course, is a xt plus b u t and yt is c xt plus d u t. That's our state space. We take Laplace transform of both sides. So what do I get? S times xs is equal to a times xs plus b u s. Now I take this to left side. S times s minus a times xs is equal to b u s. Now there is a problem. S is a Laplace variable. S minus a I cannot do. We cannot have something like S minus a. So what we have to do? We have to introduce an identity matrix. I is identity matrix of same size as A. Same size as A. So it's a square identity matrix. So Si minus A xs is equal to BUS. So we get now US is equal to, or we can write, let's say, it's okay. Okay. Xs is equal to, I will write xs is equal to xs is equal to Si minus A inverse B U S. So we have got this xs. Now put this xs into that ys. Ys is Cxs plus Dus, and in place of C, put that Cxs, xs is C times Si minus A inverse B US plus D US. That is equal to C times Si minus A inverse B plus D US. That is what we get. Now what? Ys by US. S is C times, we can that Si minus A inverse, we can write at adjoint matrix of Si minus A divided by determinant of Si minus A times B plus D. That is what is transfer function.
So this is only for single input, single output, right?
No, this is for general.
So then how can we divide y by u? Like Y
That is
is
a
a
matrix.
vector.
That will be a matrix relation. Not really divided. It's a matrix relation.
Okay.
Ys, it's a matrix relation. This is not
Yes, sir.
it is a transfer function matrix.
Yes, sir.
So there are means if m inputs and n outputs, then you will have a matrix relating here u1, u2, u3 dot 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 2. Okay, this y1, y2 dot dot dot. So here is G11S, G12S. Lot of transfer functions will come. Lot of transfer function will come. This will be called transfer function matrix. Matrix. This kind of a case is called a MIMO system. This is called M multi-input, multi-output or MIMO system. For n is equal to 1 and m is equal to 1, we get single input, single output, SISO system. So generally we deal with a SISO system so far, but this formula is universal. What is most important to note here is the denominator. What is denominator? Poles are roots of SI minus A determinant is equal to 0. That is equivalent to lambda I minus A determinant is equal to 0. So this is very, very important. Many people do control systems, but they understand nothing about that. Poles of LTI system are same as its eigenvalues. Same, eigenvalues and poles are same. It's all the same thing. One is determined from lambda I minus A determinant is equal to 0, and Si minus A determinant appears at the denominator of the transfer function. That are the poles of the system. So if eigenvalues have positive real part in their root, system is unstable. If pole has positive real part in its roots, system is unstable. That's as simple as that. Okay, that is all for today. So if you have any questions, you can ask me. Does anybody have questions? Everything is clear. Was it so simple? Is everything clear?
Sir, I had one small doubt.
Yes? Ask.
Hello.
Yes, yes.
Yeah. So, sir, like in that gyrator that I didn't still understand. Like gyrator we put 1 0. Like we talked about op amp, etc.
Yes. So
But
if
still,
you have, let's say, okay, gyrator, what we have relation? Input side effort and output side flow are related. Flow and efforts are related. All right?
Yeah.
Okay. Flow and efforts are related. You can have an amplifier. Which provides you give a voltage input, you get voltage output. You can have an amplifier which gives current input and voltage output. So effectively it is a gyrator. But it's not a physical gyrator like our motor or inductor. It's a semiconductor device. Right? It's a semiconductor device or some kind of electronic device. In that all our rules are not applicable. So in that case, it's possible that what we require is one side we will have power, the other side we will not have power. Other side should be zero power.
Yeah. Same
Okay,
as
so
open.
so that will be modeled by that one.
Okay. But like we could call it by a different name then. Anyways.
In our bond graph formalism, we don't have anything else. Okay. But we should not model it as a bond graph. It's a signal domain thing. It should be modeled in block diagram, should not be ideally modeled in bond graph.
Yes.
Okay, rest other things are clear. Then we will take up larger systems and try to derive their transfer functions in the next class. Not by using these simple things, because once they are bigger, you cannot apply all these loop rules. Okay then. So no class test is there, no test is there tomorrow. Tomorrow usual class will be there. So let me stop recording.